Bron Breakker, a world-class athlete who bulldozed his way through NXT, leaving nothing but destruction in his path. Now, it's time to take the next step, to rise through the ranks of WWE and to prove to everyone that he is the next big thing in the company. Today we explore how the rest of Bron's career could unfold, using WWE 2K24 Universe Mode. After leaving NXT, Bron was drafted to Raw, where he feuded with Sami Zayn and then Jey Uso, capturing the Intercontinental title. These feuds were designed to prepare Bron for something even greater. After losing and regaining the title twice, Bron was ready for the next stage. His first big challenge was none other than the returning Brock Lesnar. Lesnar was coming towards the end of his career, and WWE were looking to invest their stock in a younger superstar. The matches between Bron and Brock were brutal. It wasn't just about winning for Bron, it was about proving that he belonged. Their encounters in the ring were physical, stiff, and unforgettable. Fans will remember that steel cage match in late 2024. The one where Brock thought he had the match won, only for Breakker to escape in the last moment with an insane high-risk moment that could have ended his career. Breakker's early years were all about figuring out who he was beyond the shadow of his family. His promos were raw, unpolished, but full of heart. He wasn't trying to be his father or his uncle. He was creating his own legacy. By the time 2026 rolled around, the fans had accepted Bron as the new powerhouse of WWE. He was no longer the son of Rick Steiner. He was Bron Breakker, and he was the next big thing. Between 2027 and 2030, Bron Breakker went from a promising mid-carder to an undeniable main event star. It all started with Money in the Bank in 2027. Winning that briefcase was the turning point in his career. Everyone knew it was just a matter of time before Bron Breakker would become WWE champion. But it was how he did it that solidified his place at the top. After months of teasing, Breakker finally cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase in 2028 during a bittersweet last man standing match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. It was the perfect moment. Both men were down, exhausted, and Bron sprinted to the ring, delivering one of the most devastating spears in recent memory. The crowd exploded, and just like that, Bron Breakker was WWE champion. His rivalry with Rollins and Reigns defined much of his early main event run. These three were on a collision course for years, with Breakker right at the center. 2028 saw some of the most heated matches in WWE history between them. Rollins, the architect, was constantly trying to outsmart Bron, while Reigns tried to bully him out of the spotlight. But Bron wouldn't be denied. The triple threat match at SummerSlam 2028, an instant classic. Fans still talk about how Breakker managed to lift both Reigns and Rollins at the same time for that double power slam, something no one had seen for years. That match was proof that Bron wasn't just a powerhouse. He was a freak of nature, and he could go toe-to-toe with the absolute best. Bron's first WWE Championship reign lasted nearly a full year, which is a rarity in today's WWE. He defended the title against everyone, from Drew McIntyre to Cody Rhodes. Bron's versatility as a performer shined through. Whether it was a technical masterclass against Carmelo Hayes or a hard-hitting slugfest with McIntyre, Bron proved he could adapt to any style. He wasn't just winning, he was dominating. From 2031 to 2035, Bron Breakker truly solidified his legacy. This was his prime. He was headlining WrestleManias, he was a multi-time world champion, and he was the face of WWE. But with great success came great challenges, and none greater than his rivalry with Roman Reigns. Reigns was finding success in Hollywood and was only wrestling on special occasions. But that didn't numb the intensity. These two men genuinely hated each other. Their feud reached its climax at WrestleMania 51, where they faced off in an unforgettable 60-minute Iron Man match. The build-up alone was monumental. Months of animosity, personal jabs, and the desire to be the guy. For Reigns, it was about refusing to fully retire from WWE. For Breakker, it was about making sure Roman was gone for good. WrestleMania 51 was the moment Bron Breakker had been waiting for. The Iron Man match was grueling, 60 minutes of pure punishment. The score was tied at 4-4, and with just 30 seconds left on the clock, Breakker dug deep, hitting Reigns with an earth-shattering spear. The crowd was on their feet as Bron locked in a Steiner recliner, a tribute to his family. With mere seconds to go, Reigns tapped out. Bron had done it. He finally defeated Roman Reigns on the grandest stage of them all. That victory not only cemented his place as the top star, but also became one of the most iconic moments in WrestleMania history. By the end of 2035, Breakker had accomplished what few ever do. He became a Grand Slam champion. He won the United States title in a barn burner against Kevin Owens, and later that year, he captured the Tag Team Championships alongside his longtime rival, turned partner Drew McIntyre. It was a full-circle moment. Bron wasn't just the powerhouse of the division. He was one of the most well-rounded competitors in WWE history. But beyond the titles, it was his work ethic and leadership that stood out. Bron was becoming a locker room leader, taking younger talents under his wing. By 2036, everyone in the business recognized Bron Breakker as not just a top guy, but a true legend. From 2036 to 2038, he embraced his role as the veteran gatekeeper. He wasn't competing for championships as often, but when he did, it was an event. His 2037 feud with rising star Javon Evans was a masterclass in storytelling. Bron, now 37, played the role of the grizzled veteran who still had something to prove, while Evans was now one of the top merchandise sellers in the company. In the end, Javon won the feud, but it was Bron who made him a star. That's the kind of performer Bron had become, someone who could elevate others while still delivering top-tier performances. At 38, Bron had one last title run in him, an emotional and hard-fought heavyweight championship reign. The 2038 feud with Obafemi brought out the best in both men. Bron defended the title for 6 months, showing that even in his late 30s, he could still go. That final title defense at Survivor Series 2038, where he narrowly lost to Obafemi, was a passing of the torch moment. Breakker knew his time was coming to an end. Injuries were beginning to catch up with him, and WWE's insulting contract offer was enough to seal Bron's decision. In 2040, at the age of 40, Bron Breakker announced his retirement tour. This was his farewell to the fans who had supported him for 15 years. Every match on that tour was emotional, but none more so than his final match at WrestleMania 56 against one of his greatest rivals, Seth Rollins. With Rollins now 52 years old and long retired from WWE, this served as one final special attraction match for Rollins, while simultaneously being the final match of Bron Breakker. The match was everything it needed to be: emotional, physical, and symbolic. Breakker won in the end, with both men receiving a standing ovation. Bron's career was nothing short of legendary. From his early days of raw potential to becoming the face of WWE, and ultimately a respected veteran, his journey was one for the history books. Multiple world championships, unforgettable rivalries, and iconic WrestleMania moments. Breakker goes down as one of the greatest to ever step in the ring. Bron Breakker's chapter is closed, but Bronson Steiner, that's a different story.